Hey, hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong.
Good morning and welcome back to GMT right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, and as we continue our conversation this morning, we're talking about the district town hall meeting by the THA's Executive Council that took place on Tuesday, the 13th of June, that happened at Fairfield Complex. And that was done in the area of the area representative and Assemblyman Natisha Charles-Pantin for Bagatelle.
Okay.
And thank you so much for coming on with us and good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning to you. Good morning to my constituents and Tobago.
Excellent. So how would you have deemed this particular district town hall meeting? Because this was the first time that it happened within your district. So what was the feedback like for you? How was that?
Well, persons reached out to me. They said that they liked the entire presentation. The feedback was good from the constituents and persons surrounding the constituency as well, because many persons attended to get follow-up answers to their questions. So it was deemed as successful as all the others.
Okay. Was there anything that stood out as a surprise to you during the session?
Actually, no, nothing was a surprise at the session.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because, I was doing my homework for the entire, time. So nothing, was a surprise for me.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to community engagement within your district of Bagatelle, how has that been for you? How has the engagement with the community been? Have you been able to maintain that communication with members of the district?
Okay, so I continue to maintain communication with my constituents. And the entire experience, while it is rewarding, at the same time it is challenging because you get to experience firsthand all the needs, outstanding needs that have been just lying there to be addressed. And then with the inclement weather experience last year, then you would have seen that we had a lot of erosion, a lot of flooding. So we have a lot of work to do. And then remember, you have to strike a balance between, providing for your district as well as the other districts. So it is challenging. Allocation of resources, you have to be very, skillful in terms of, how to manage and please all the constituents across the entire Tobago space and not just Bagatelle.
Correct.
Right? And you have to prioritize. You have to deal with emergencies. Of course, you would want to prioritize emergencies, and then you get down to, how to prevent additional emergencies from occurring. But what my constituents, those who choose to serve from their head and their hearts, they have worked together with me so that I can, push what I believe should happen across all districts, that we must not rely 100% on the Tobago House of Assembly alone, right? But how we can manage our district in the very same way that Castara, they operate on a system that I love. And it's something that I introduced in my area, and I'll continue to do, outside work outside of the Tobago House of Assembly, raise funds and love doing it at the same time, exploring people's talents. And this is my plea to my constituents. However you want to assist in building your community, because it is our community, it should not only be seen as the government providing everything. If we truly love our space, we should be able to build our space as well.
Excellent. And when you came into office, you had a number of plans, initiatives, things that you would have committed to your district that would get done within your time in office. And we could say you're almost halfway through your representation period for this particular time in office. my question to you is, do you think that you would have accomplished most of the things that you set out to accomplish? And do you think you would be able to accomplish most of those things within this time period for the next, until the end of your 4-year term?
Well, at the end of the 4 years seems like a lot of time, but it isn't. And to be honest, you would never be able to achieve everything in just one term. But we would have done a lot based on, if you saw the presentation, we would have done a lot based on what resources have been allocated to just the Bagatelle-Bacolet district. Persons complained about not getting water at the top of French Fort. 2 booster stations were installed. Persons complained about their streets not being well lit, and we were able to pay for Cradley Trace, right? Lights in Cradley Trace, Bacolet Point, Celestial View, that's an entire community within Bagatelle that has no lighting at all. Delphi phase 3, right? South phase 3. So we are getting there. You saw the lovely work done by the Division of Infrastructure in Friendsfield, for example, that long stretch of drain, yeah, and other drainage works in the entire Bagatelle-Bacolet district. And as I said, the inclement weather would have brought about a lot of emergency situations that we did not anticipate, right? But we are working on a lot of the infrastructure in the area so that persons can be comfortable. There are big ticket items planned for the district, because you heard the Chief Secretary, he would have mentioned Scarborough Secondary School, right? And he would have mentioned several projects at the sporting facility there for the young people, right? But of course, if you could go attend the, sporting complex, and then you're still unable to get to your house still flooding out, So that balance, yeah, we have to strike a balance. But we're going to continue working together. It's not about what Mrs. Pantin wants for the district. The constituents, what they have highlighted, and we're trying to treat with those issues to make, ourselves comfortable.
Right. And so there's always a discussion that being on the inside and on the outside are 2 different things. And when you actually get in is when you really understand the realities of the situation. And one of the realities that you guys have faced from getting into office is understanding that resources are not as accessible as you may have thought that it was in regards to finances. How do you prioritize within your district what gets done and what may not get done? And a number of the things that were discussed during that session, how realistic are they, seeing the financial constraints that that this current administration is facing?
I've always had the understanding that we will never always have all the resources we would want. And I've always understood that everything would take time. The sort of person and personality I have, I've always been pushing. And, 2 months ago, I know I've never said it to anyone in the public, but at one of the events, I actually fainted. And someone from community development offered emergency first aid. And I ended up in the hospital in the resuscitation room. And I discovered that my blood count was extremely low. I thought I would have died. And, the reality of that, it said to me that, I'm working very hard, both as being a secretary and an assemblyman. And, it is challenging trying to achieve all the goals that you set up, both at, the managing your health and also being able to manage all the demands that come your way. But God saw it fit for me to pull through, and I'm still pushing, right? I'm taking into consideration managing my health, and I'm trying the best that I can, given the resources I have and those that are, we have been raising. We have been doing so many fundraisers. And what I like about my community, people are reaching out and saying, I need a traffic mirror here, but you know what? I'll contribute. And that is what I love, because they're really seeing that we want to fix, a lot of the issues. Some issues you can resolve by us just coming together. And I'll tell you something, you see, volunteerism, I've been doing it for partly all my life. It brings a different type of experience within you, right? I don't know if a lot of persons within my community that they haven't heard my voice, begging for volunteerism. I know I'm always there asking you, what are your thoughts about what you need in your street? But if volunteerism isn't apparent, it has not been apparent, I'm still calling on you to come out and be part of an initiative where we can all say together in Bagatelle, Bacalet, like they do in Castara and other villages. Come out and let's be proud of, building a community together.
Excellent. And though we're out of time and we have to wrap up, what type of relationship do you have with the village council within your district? And is there anything that you want to say to your constituents before we wrap up this morning?
All right. In my district, because of how the seats were split, I do not have a village council, right? What I do have are action groups, and I'm mentoring several NGOs so that we can get things, more things done through NGOs. There are a lot of funding available from different types of organizations. Jeff, all these private organizations, they have been publishing what they can contribute. So I'm mentoring a lot of people across the district, right? And if the chief secretary gave, my constituents a challenge, let's come together and form a village council, and the community division of community development will support them, right? So I'm actually starting from scratch in terms of building organizations in my district.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I want to also congratulate you on all the work that you have been doing within the district. Guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, and that was all that we have for today. Again, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for helping to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago, and we will see you soon, guys. Have a great day.
60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never